Well, Coach, you get back out here after the idle week. How'd the guys look on Tuesday?
We've had two really good physical practices. We were physical Sunday night, and we were very physical today. So you can tell it's conference play, and we're ready to get going.
How do you balance, staying physical and trying to keep the guys healthy, but coming off that idle week?
Yeah, it's always a fine line, but we're erring on the edge of physicality right now, not on the side of being too careful. It's too early in the year. I mean, our last 3 years we've had bye weeks, week 9, so different kind of mindset. But we're not a real good football team right now, and we've got to get better. So we got to practice and get physical. And you don't stop the run by not being physical, and you don't run the football without being physical. And we have shown the capacity of being able to run the ball and then not run it. And we've shown the ability to stop the run and not be able to stop it. So we're an inconsistent football team, and inconsistent football teams don't get taken care of during practice. They got to practice harder.
Do you think the guys feel any pressure being 1-3 and wanting to turn that around, or how do they balance that part of it?
We can say they don't, but they hear about it. They know how bad they've been told they're not any good. They hear it everywhere they go. So you can't hide from it. It's real. You'd like to say we don't hear all that stuff, but you can't help it. Everywhere you go, you get it. And you can go eat lunch. Somebody's gonna tell you probably your waiter or your waitress is gonna tell you how bad you are.
We saw Buffalo Cruz get added to the depth chart this week, but it was at guard rather than tackle. What's sort of the thinking there, and how do you get factor in?
We're just trying to get the best guys out there on the field, and right now it's where it is.
Is it easier for a player to come back at one of those interior positions where maybe there's a little less mobility, or
more girth, less exposure? So 6 of one, half a dozen of another, however that old saying goes.
Is there rain in the forecast this week?
Every day I look, it's different, but every time I look, it gets worse. So I'm not looking anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything special, or you just guys kind of.
We got the wet ball out there, and we're preparing. I've got people that keep me up to date on that stuff because it drives me crazy. I peek occasionally, but every time I peek, it gets worse. So I told them I'm not looking anymore. They can just tell me. Last I heard, it was 70% chance and going to be 60-something degrees with 13-mile-an-hour wind. So something we don't experience much down here for sure.
They looked pretty good at times this weekend. Temple did. Is it that they a little bit better than their record indicates?
They played good people. I mean, Tulsa's got a good football team. Rutgers is a Big Ten opponent. Plays up there. They've been playing each other for years. Miami's really good. So they've beaten 2 teams, and we've lost 3 good ones.
how has Kavorian Barnes responded to trying to work through some of these fumble issues? What's his mentality been like the last couple weeks?
Like anybody, when stuff doesn't go good, makes you mad and go back to work.
You guys have historically started well in conference. What do you think has been the biggest key to that in recent years?
Players that understand the importance, players that have the self-confidence to, all the critics, all the criticism, all the naysayers. We've only had 1 winning record since we've been here in non-conference, so we're pretty used to getting beat up pretty good. And then we like keeping receipts and remembering all the people that said all that stuff, and we kind of laugh at the end of the year.
Jeff, what stands out about the way Joshua Cephas has responded to the call of being the number 1 wide receiver, not having some of the proven guys next to him he's had the last couple of years?
I think he's played really well. Obviously, we've been through 3 quarterbacks, so sometimes that makes the receivers not look as good. Just nothing against Eddie or Owen. It's just 3 different ones. There's a lot of work that goes into that. So I think he's been really good, honestly.
How about some of the young guys at that position? What's been your impression of the way they've stepped up early in the year?
They've kind of like our team. They've all had their moments, good and bad. You can go through every one of them. At moments, you're like, here we go. And then there's other moments where you're like, what the heck was that? So we're inconsistent. That's just where we are. And I would say those guys are right in line with the rest of us. They're playing for a 1-3 head coach with 1-3 coordinators, and we're a 1-3 team. So we know the conference starts over. But we also have to be able to look at ourselves honestly and know we didn't do well the first month, and get a do-over in October. And it won't matter if we don't go self-reflect, address the problems, and never lose your confidence. You gotta talk to yourself. You can't listen to yourself or the haters.
Did last week, did any of that self-reflection yield any changes or anything significant you could speak on?
Just a sense of urgency. mean, it's harder to motivate a 4-0 team than it is a 1-3 team if you got the right kind of culture. And our kids are going for their 11th consecutive conference win. They're going for their 3rd consecutive conference championship. And nobody's telling them that. The only ones talking about that stuff for us in this locker room. Everybody else is telling them how bad they are, and we'll see how they respond.
Jeff, Zay Frazier, I don't think is dressed for you guys yet this season. What's sort of his status going forward?
Unfortunate situation there with some appeal. We're still trying to win, and we're still in the phase of trying to win an appeal right now.
Over what in particular?
We'll just keep that in-house. It's unfortunate. No fault of the kid. So that's unfortunate.
How about the, we did not get to talk previously about the university's proposal to increase the student athletics fee. What was sort of your reaction to that becoming a topic of conversation?
We hadn't done our part. We're 1-3, right? So that's not going to motivate people to be too positive. That was my first thought. Then, there's just such a need in our entire program going to the AAC. And you just look back at the history of this place and how each time, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't even have football. I mean, people had to, everybody had to get on board for that. And then you get in the WAC and then UTSA, and now we're in the AAC. It's just such a climb. But none of that happens without a lot of people being involved. And people think about it just as football, but it's not. I mean, look at our baseball facility, look at our basketball facility. I mean, just so many things we need. We've gotten soccer, addressed with facilities, but we just got a lot of things. If we're going to be competitive, and I know everybody wants that, we're going to have to get some of that kind of stuff done.
Jeff, I know you're focused on Temple, but did you get a chance to watch any of the conference this weekend, and what were your overall thoughts?
Obviously, Thursday night I watched Tulsa, and Temple, and then Saturday, I watched a really good football game, Tulane and UAB. It was just a great game. UAB fumbles on the 1-inch line, just trying to, as Care Bear says, run the up and over, which is her favorite play. So I was really glad to show her how the up and over went for a fumble the other way. But 2 really good football teams there, and then that night, I watched a really good football game again at Rice and East Carolina. Yeah. So, I got to watch, 6 of the opponents just from watching them live. I've only studied, obviously, Temple, but you can tell UAB is really good. You can tell Tulane's really good. Rice is a good football team, and East Carolina, that was a really good football game. Thank you.
Appreciate it.